Hello everyone, this is Puka and welcome to another game I played on the Pokemon Trading Card Game Online. This time I'm going up against a player named Nerd for Christ, and I'm going to be using a much different deck than normal. Before Bad Deck Monday, I put up a poll on our Facebook page, and I asked everyone what deck did they want to see me play tonight. A new deck. The options were Togekiss Rock Guard, a Turbo Tornadus EX Plasma deck, or this deck, Kecleon Ho-Oh. So everyone, well, most people picked Kecleon Ho-Oh, so here we are. You can see all the different energy types I have in my hand, the Cobalion and Terrakion, and heck, there are the Kecleon. So, if you don't know what Kecleon does, its ability Color Change copies the type of the opponent. So, say Kecleon were active, it would then turn into a Lightning type, since that's a Dynamo out there. And its attack Im-Attack allows you to copy one of your opponent's attacks, but you need to have the necessary energy to do it. So we need Ho-Oh with that Rebirth ability, and then Energy Switch and Scramble Switch to power up Kecleon, copy some attacks, and we'll see what can happen. Now I'm going up against a Rayquaza Electric deck here, which I did not really think about when I was building this deck because, well, I don't really run enough Fire or Lightning to copy Dragon Burst. Since it has to be basic energy that you discard for Dragon Burst, the most I'm ever going to do is 120. Since I will copy its Dragon type, I'll at least have that. But yeah, I'll not be able to do any damage really. 120 at the most. Which is kind of bad considering I'll have its weakness, but oh well. I did miss an energy attachment on the first turn, and I missed an energy attachment on the second turn as well now. I did get to take a prize from that Hypnotoxic Laser. I got pretty lucky there. So we're still not in terrible position, that's for sure. But this looks pretty ugly right here. I have no energy in play, no Ho-Oh in the discard pile. I do have a couple Ultra Balls, but I would have to discard my entire hand if I wanted to get a Ho-Oh in the discard, so I'm not going to bother with that. And let's see, he attaches a Lightning to the Emolga, and then ends me, which I'm actually pretty happy about. Now I get a fresh hand to work with. I have my one Plasma Energy that I use to copy Deoxys EX, so that Kecleon can knock that out. Copying Helix Force. Not going to be very useful in this matchup, I feel. So, we'll see. I decided to put a Prism onto the Kecleon. We'll start to try to power that up. We do have a Fire in the discard pile, so we could go ahead and use Ho-Oh, Rebirth, all that good stuff. And now another uneventful turn for me. Pretty much just going to have to pass. I'm not really sure how this matchup's going to go against Rayquaza Electric. One of the good things I have going for me is that a lot of my attacking Pokemon are not EXs. So Rayquaza Electric honestly thrives on the fact that most of the attackers in the format are EXs. So then you can Dragon Burst for 180 and then take two prizes at once. You know, you're going to fall behind early on, probably setting up, since Dynamos are so fragile. Especially this Victini EX is a fragile thing as well. And then you're going to come roaring back because, you know, you just take two prizes every turn. Two prizes, and you'll make up your ground. But against a deck with, well, not really EX attackers, I have Terrakion, Cobalion, and Kecleon, it's going to be a little tougher. So, and leave it be. Oh, actually, I can switch here. Look at this. This is Kecleon in action, and look at that awesome transformation it does. This is one of the cool things about PTCGO. Look, Kecleon turned into a fire type. Like the card actually turned red. You don't get that kind of animation in real life, folks. This is the kind of thing only Pokemon TCG Online provides. It's pretty cool. And I'll be able to use Im-Attack to copy Turbo Energize. And look at that awesome picture. And we can use Turbo Energize to get 2 energy on my field. So Kecleon, that is awesome. We're going to be able to get some energy into play. And it looks like my Lightning energy is prized, so I won't even be able to really... I'm going to take a look at Victini X to see if we can separate the energy out if I need to. And yes, you can attach 2 basic energy from your deck to your bench Pokemon in any way you like, so it doesn't have to be just to one Pokemon. But yeah, this is kind of the flexibility of Kecleon. It's pretty cool. I like doing this. I like these tricky little things where, you could pull off some weird moves sometimes just by copying your opponent's attacks. So we're going to get... I'm trying to figure out where I want to put my energy. Like, what is most likely to get knocked out? What is most likely to survive? And I decide that if he's going to target anything down, it'll probably be Terrakion, since that is the biggest, kind of the biggest threat with 130 HP. Otherwise, he'll probably just knock out Kecleon. So I just want to make sure I have energy spread out. If he takes a knockout, I can just attach to Terrakion and then retaliate and then do 90 damage or catch her up like an electric or a Tynamo and get a knockout. Probably a glitch. I got a feeling that Kecleon can be kind of tricky to code for the programmers since the type is always changing, the image is always changing. Maybe it's a little bugged right now, but I did not turn into the Dragon type. Hopefully, if I ever need to attack against a Rayquaza EX, it will turn into the Dragon type. Yeah, you can see it went back to colorless. Kind of weird. Oh well. And now, alright, we're going to send up Terrakion and just try to retaliate this turn. Should just do 90 damage to the Rayquaza, or I can try to get a Tynamo. Both of those are going to be acceptable in this situation. Either way, we are now tied 5-5 in prizes once my opponent actually takes his prize. And now we'll see what happens after this. So, what is my game plan from here? I don't really know. I get a Shaman EX, which I'm definitely just going to discard. Shaman EX is probably the last card I want to put down in this matchup. 110 hit point EX, that's not good. Weak to fire, it's also not good. So I'm going to Ultra Ball that and the Psychic away. Grab my Ho-Oh, and then we can drop the Verbank, counter his Sky Arrow, and then Juniper away the Ho-Oh. And my opponent asks, shouldn't that have been 240? But no. Kecleon's weakness doesn't change, just his type. It's weird to see a Dragon Pokemon that's now weak to Dragon, but that's exactly what it is. Alright, so now I didn't get an energy off my Juniper. And I got Tails on Rebirth. Okay. So this ended up very poorly. It started off okay. I Junipered away, or I discarded the Psychic Energy and got the Verbank out. Because I figured I would draw an energy, and then I figured, well, countering the Sky Arrow is going to be useful. But boy, did this backfire twice. Tricks into play, which has been my saving grace so far. And yeah, I don't know. I really don't have an idea of how I'm going to go about actually winning the game. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear and say, well, let's just try to get some knockouts here or there. I get a Prism Energy off the top. And, he kind of messed himself up a little bit by benching that second Victini EX. He kind of screwed up his bench space, quite honestly. And we'll see if we can take advantage of that. Because I'm going to just... If I just knock out that Rayquaza EX, it's going to be really tough for him to, power up another one immediately. And, yeah, pretty much. So I'm going to Skyla here for a catcher. And then just catcher out the Rayquaza EX. Attach a Prism to the Kecleon to get myself ready for any sorts of shenanigans. And then Energy Press, which will now do 80. And now that Rayquaza EX is in range to be knocked out by pretty much anything, it's got 50 HP left. So that is fine. And I decided not to use Rebirth that turn with Ho-Oh because, well, I don't want it to get catchered out and knocked out. He does catcher out the Kecleon, which, hey, it's a Dragon type now. So I wonder if there's a glitch where if it's already another type, and then your opponent sends out a different type of Pokemon, it'll just go back to normal instead of changing to the new type. That's what happened before. I was Fire, and then he retreated into the Rayquaza EX, and then I turned back to normal. But he's got a Juniper. I'm curious as to why he catchered out the Kecleon. I guess he's really worried that I'm going to use Imattack to copy Dragon Burst. Not too sure. Kecleon with a Prism is kind of scary. It could be anything. But surprising that he wouldn't go for Terrakion or even Cobalion. just leave it up there. I'm not sure what the reasoning is, but it's okay. I am happy with this outcome, and oh, he actually plays a second catcher and knocks out the Terrakion here, realizing that, alright, that thing's probably going to be a pain to deal with. Now, there's 50 HP left on this Rayquaza EX, so that means I can't even use Energy Press. I'm going to promote the Kecleon because it is free retreat from the Sky Arrow, and we'll see what we can do. We still don't have a definitive knockout on this Rayquaza EX. Get Tails on Rebirth again. What are you doing, Ho-Oh? Come on. Don't let me down. I won 4 city championships with you. Come on. Work with me. I guess I kind of left you in the dust once Plasma Storm came out, though. Anyway, so I'm going to have to either Chorus for 6 or End for 5 and hope to draw... I guess I can draw a Laser. Then I can Energy Press for the knockout. If I draw a Prism... I guess I could use Iron Breaker with Cobalion. And let's see. Okay, we did get the Laser, so that is exactly what I needed. I got a pretty much worthless Plasma Energy, which I can attach just to Kecleon, I guess. Then I can actually copy the Intensifying Burn of Victini EX a little later. That could be a possibility. So, yeah, that seems like a reasonable thing to do. Now we're going to retreat. Drop that Laser, and we will do Energy Press for the knockout. So it'll do 40, and then the 10 from the poison will finish him off. And alright, we have taken the lead once again with our ragtag mix of attackers. I got an Absol out of my prizes. That could be a big Pokemon to use in the upcoming turns. Mind Jack does 20 plus 20 for each of my opponent's benched Pokemon, so that is beautiful. I will be able to do quite a bit of damage, at least 100 right now. I mean, if he benches another Pokemon, I'll be able to do 120. Mind Jack is really good. We're probably going to be seeing Absol quite a bit, especially in Darkrai decks. But, hey, I'm playing Prism Energy. Why not play one here? And, alright, he's throwing down another Rayquaza EX. And this is kind of what I was talking about before. He can kind of put one down, but he only has one Electric in play. There's a Fire. Doesn't look like he'll be able to attack me immediately. And he's just going to send out Victini EX and Turbo Energize once again. Now this is a big opening for me because I can just use Absol's Mind Jack. We can drop it with the Prism, and then Energy Switch, and then take the knockout on that Victini EX. This is, of course, the problem with Victini EX. It is so darn fragile. We're going to go for a Rebirth. And come on, Ho-Oh. Wake up. What a lazy Phoenix. Doesn't even want to come back to life. So yeah, we're going to drop the Prism onto Absol. Energy Switch. Bring the water over to Absol. And he says, uh-oh, that's going to hurt. And yeah, it probably will. So I can just take my 2 prizes here this turn. That is just fine with me. You can see I have 2 catchers left, so I should be able to catcher something for the final prize now. And this extremely strange deck can somehow get a win here, perhaps. I do have some other cards that I don't really want to play. I mean, Energy Switch, that's the card I want to keep. So we're just going to Mind Jack for 120 and the knockout. Hopefully he doesn't end me. Then I wouldn't be able to really catcher anything. Okay, never mind, there's an end. So I'm going to get 1 card, and hey, a catcher. That is a very nice card to draw. If you're going to get N to 1 in this situation, I would approve of the catcher. That is pretty sweet for me. Now all I need to do is get a Rebirth Heads, and then I can use Ho-Oh to Rainbow Burn for the win, and he can taste the rainbow. We're going to see a Super Rod, shuffles an Electric, Fire, and a Lightning as well. He can Dragon Burst the Absol for the knockout. Of course, the downside to Absol is that it is also a low HP Pokemon, only has 100 hit points. So yeah, I mean, I have this catcher. I was very lucky to draw that off my 1 card. I had a lot of cards to draw, but it was pretty lucky to draw this one. And okay, I even drew a Laser, which, and it's not too impactful, but hey, ho! Welcome to the party. You always come through when I need you in the end. There is the catcher on the Ho-Oh. Or the catcher on the Emolga, We're going to attack it with the Ho-Oh and Rainbow Burn for the win. This takes me back to my Ho-Oh days. So, good game, Nerd for Christ. Kecleon wins somehow. I'm not quite sure what happened that game. There was a lot of weird attackers going on there in a game that we probably won't really see anything like again. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. I am Puka here from the Top Cut. We'll have some more videos for you soon, and I'll see you guys next time.